Hi, my name is Cassandra Laney, and today my presentation is focused on plankton presence in the river versus the estuary. One of the most influential factors that inspired this research project were the parameters of water chemistry in my local estuary, and how different they were from river samples and how that juxtaposed. Some of the controlling parameters, such as sunlight and nutrient input, also have an effect on phytoplankton and their sizes and their prominence. And I wanted to see if water chemistry parameters, when they change, if there was a difference with river water exposure and if that could have an effect on phytoplankton. There was even a study done in Louisiana in a river estuary system that showed that with different amounts of river water exposure, there are different types of phytoplankton population. My sample sites for today in this presentation were Bowie, Everett Marina, and NBT. Bowie and Everett Marina, they represented more of a heavy influenced river water type of sample site. MBT was more of our estuary site, representing what the estuary looked like chemically. I wanted to see if there was a difference in river and estuary water chemistry, and if they had any similar trends. So this is the parameters against each other. And all of this data was collected across 2019 to 2021 in both Everett Marina and MBT with moored devices, moored CTDs that measured these parameters over time. In both of these figures, you will notice that there is a gap of data, just a weird speckly line, from around July 2019 to September 2019. And that's just representing a lack of data for Everett Marina. I believe that CTD was taken out and repaired during that time. These brown arrows on both of these slides also represent when our phytoplankton information and data were collected and analyzed. So in comparing salinity to chlorophyll, we see that these parameters do not really follow any similar trends to each other as parameters or against each other as sample sites, seeing that there's not really any similarity across MBT and Everett Marina in salinity, but there is in chlorophyll. But yeah, we see that the water chemistry is completely different, but in temperature versus chlorophyll, we see very similar parameters with highs and lows occurring at the same time, similar trends across the years, which suggests that there might be an impact or a correlation between phytoplankton and chlorophyll. We chose to analyze chlorophyll just because that's a huge indicator of phytoplankton presence and population and everything. When analyzing phytoplankton density, we see that there's not really any site day that suggests a similarity of phytoplankton presence between the sites, showing that the phytoplankton densities and populations are completely different site to site, even though it's the same day, same time, same people collecting it. So that is interesting. So going back and looking over the results of the study, the difference of water chemistry between the sites could explain or suggest an impact on why plankton density looks as it does. We're also able to see that even though these sites are merely miles away from each other and they're in the same proximity, the water chemistry environment, or just the environment itself, houses a completely different phytoplankton population, which shows that there is something that is going on that causes each site to have something completely different from each other. My next steps in research will be to add more data from these sites from years on, kind of completing what we haven't covered across from the arrow, and also expanding research sites to see and just expand our representation of our river and estuary. I would like to thank all of these amazing facilities and just supporters of my research and education for making all my research and findings possible. Thank you.